What's going on, everybody? We are,
up?
hey man, this season so far, we've had a combo of all three of us, SK, Rap, Realistic Randy,
Yep.
SK, Rap, SK, Randy. And for the first time, Randy and Rap. Let me ask you something, man. All season long, we've been talking shit. We've been super aggressive. This team is different, man. Everything that happened in the past, don't even worry about it. This is a good team. They can beat any team, anywhere, any place.
Yeah.
And it came back to bite us in the ass. Do you have any regrets?
Man, I have a little bit of regret, but I will say this, man. Our team gave us a hell of a season to watch, regardless of how the last two games went. I mean, it's not an excuse for the pathetic performances we saw the past 2 weeks, but at the end of the day, I will say this. I think the expectations going into the season, it's weird because expectations going into the season, I don't think there were many Vikings fans that believed we would have even been playing a playoff game last night, to be honest with you. And unless you're sipping the purple Kool-Aid and you just kind of every year it's just, oh no, the Vikings are going to go 17-0. But they dragged us along. I think that's what bothers me more about the season is it's like, okay, 2-0, okay, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. Oh yeah, you're like, okay, hold up. Then you lose 2, and then you go on another 9 fucking game winning streak, bro. And I'm like, yo, yeah, this is nice. And then all of a sudden that shit happens. But all in all, Randy, I'll say this. Thank you, Sam Darnold and the rest of the team, man. Sam Darnold, your expectations were super low to fucking begin with. Let's just keep it honest here. You fucked us over in the end, but you know what? We're Vikings fans. We're used to it.
I thought that there was no way in hell that they would do what the Vikings are used to doing, and that is choke on the national stage. I didn't think that there was any chance of that happening. And Sam Darnold, and not only that, but if they were to do that, I did not think it would be at the hands of Sam Darnold, that he would go back to that journeyman quarterback. Everybody's been talking all season long, the national media, the talking heads, that, hey, I'm just waiting for it. It's going to rear its ugly head. I didn't think that that would happen, but it did happen back-to-back weeks. But I'll tell you what, I'm leaving here with something, man.
Yeah.
We thought that going into the offseason, however it was going to end, that it was going to go one of two ways and we were going to argue with each other. All right, man, we got a deep playoff run. So door number one, they re-signed Sam Darnold, multi-year extension, $50+ million per year, or you let him walk and on comes the JJ McCarthy era. Well, I want to give a shout out to Sam Darnold because he made it super fucking easy for the Vikings. There is no, oh, this or the other. I know that going into this offseason, the plan is JJ McCarthy. You know that the plan is that they are going to spend that $70 million on big names, whether it's on the interior offensive line, D-line, doesn't even matter. And JJ McCarthy is going to be that guy. But I've reached a point, Rap, where that rage now, all right. I definitely raged out a couple of times during the watch party, especially the sack fumble that was returned for a touchdown. Yeah. But at the end of it all, I was just like, okay, man, we're a good team. We're not good enough to be one of those elite teams that I thought we were, not yet anyway. Mm-hmm. But the last thing I'll say on Sam Darnold, because quite frankly, I'm just ready to move on. It's over with. The fact that, he played himself out of at least $20 million per year. That I think his market value is no more than $30 million per year. And I think that's still too high. I'd pay him 10 per year. What would you pay him? If you had to?
And that's what he's getting now, man. To be honest with you, man, I don't even want to entertain it. To be honest with you, I don't give a fuck if it's 500,000 to be straightforward with you. I just don't think we should entertain it. I think we should go into next season knowing that what we did this year was exactly the plan. And that was Sam Darnold is a bridge quarterback to kind of form JJ McCarthy, give him some time to learn or whatever. Hey, listen, JJ McCarthy got a whole season to learn without having to risk getting thrown out in the fire to the wolves and proving himself actually on the field, maybe it'll be beneficial for him, man. I think about Jaden Daniels doing the VR stuff. Now I know obviously JJ McCarthy isn't mobile because of his knee injury, so he was kind of bedridden in a way for a little while. But I'm hoping, man, he was able to do certain things like that too to kind of just keep him sharp. He did look like he lost weight, man. That's one thing that was concerning when they showed him on the game. I was like, damn, like JJ McCarthy looked like he like a $150. You know what I mean? I didn't know what the fuck going on, but I'm ready for this era to start. If we bring Sam Darnold back for 10 million, what does that mean? Well, that means Kevin O'Connell can still try to find this attachment to him and say, well, shit, we won 14 games last year. It was only the last 2 games, man. I think I can get a little more out of him. I don't even want that to be a fucking conversation, straight up.
Right. Okay. So, and the one thing that I am happy about is that, all right, I feel really good about JJ McCarthy. Yeah, he lost some weight, but it's like having a knee operation and having to rest that knee. You can't do what you used to do in the fitness facilities, but that training staff, they'll get him right for next year. He's going to be good. But I'm very excited for the new franchise quarterback to take over. But honestly, that's the only thing that I'm like trying to keep in mind as far as to stay happy about. And I didn't want this show to start off being like, motherfuck this, and I can't believe you did that. So I wanted to make sure we got all the good stuff out the way. And I think we did, unless, I don't know, any other sprinkles of joy you want to lay out there, Rap?
I mean, the only other joy you touched on it was, I say this to our community is, listen, at the end of all of this, right? Like, there's only going to be one fan base that's ultimately satisfied anyways, right? Unfortunately, it's not us, right? It's not going to be us this year. It's just not going to, it's not that. That's not happening. But at the end of the day, somebody has to lose this weekend. There's going to be 4 other fan bases that are going to be feeling the way we're feeling, maybe even worse, because they got one step closer just to fall short. And, at the end of the day, man, we have a ton of money to spend in the free agency. If you look at what Kwesi kind of put together this year with the Cashmans and the Van Ginkels, if that's any kind of signal of what's to come, knowing that now he has even more flexibility to go out and be aggressive, I mean, shit, you should be excited as a Vikings fan. That's something as a Vikings fan, you should be like, man, I can't wait to see what he does with the resources that he's available this year. Now I know draft picks, that's one thing. We don't have many. But free agency, that's where so far Kwesi has been able to really be successful. He's not really that successful in the draft. I mean, I ain't gonna say he's unsuccessful, but he's not the greatest drafter so far, at least on his resume. But again, man, you should be excited about that as a Vikings fan. Real quick, man, shout out Anthony with the 5, man. I mean, we can talk about this real quick. He said, fire KOC and hire Bill Belichick. He'll have JJ and Jettas looking like Tom Brady and stop Tom Brady and Randy. Stop playing games and let's get this freaking ring skull. Shout out Anthony, man, for the 5, man. We appreciate you.
Right on.
For sure. I mean, how do you feel about that, Randy?
So, well, let me do this first. We just got off the positivity of the Vikings. Give a shout out to everybody out there that have showed us support in that positivity. But now we got to get into the stank. All right. So the Vikings have found ways to where every time they get on the big stage, especially in the playoffs, they shit the bed. That's just been a fact. That's been the historical pattern for this franchise. I don't think it's like a voodoo or they're cursed or we've been jinxed or anything like that. Each era of the Vikings have their own issues. So they embarrassed themselves last night and the week before, season over. What's the specific issue right here? And we talked about it. I wish SK was right here, right now. Because when I brought this up the first time, this man, he brought on the, hey, SK, I know you watching, dog. Hey, we got to say why he's not even on the show because he's sick. He lost his voice. I think he was at the game or where was he yesterday? Do you know?
I don't think he was at the game, but maybe he was at some kind of bar-ish, like, some Vikings party thing. And we have his crash out on video. I mean, I can play the audio too. We'll play it at some point in the show, man. We'll let SK's crash out play, you know what I mean? What he talks about, and we'll get the feedback from it.
But when I first brought this up, Rap, this man, and we did it in the chat before, like the day before we did the show, the next day, this man brought up this whole ass bulletin board material, a film, and actually you shouldn't talk about or criticize this guy. I'm going to fight for his honor. It's actually Sam Darnold this and Sam Darnold that. KOC is a shitty play caller. And I don't even think that's a hot take. This man is supposed to be an offensive guru, an offensive genius. And maybe he is when it comes to the behind the scenes stuff, developing the scheme and working on the playbook. But as far as real-time adjustments, game time adjustments, adjusting to your opponent's adjustments, KOC doesn't know what it is that he's doing, bro. You're down 18 points. The season is on the line, and you pulled a whole ass 4th and 8 running the damn football. Why is it that we can't do slant routes? Why is it that we can't do intermediate ins, outs, curl routes? It's just screens and deep pass patterns. Yo, if you are going to win anything with KOC, he cannot call plays. Not to say that he should be fired. I think outside of play calling, he's a good coach, but he's a shitty play caller. And that's just facts. He's nowhere on the level. We saw that. He got out coached and outclassed by Sean McVay, Dan Campbell. It didn't matter who he was going to go up. These are the playoffs. Everybody's great. And this is where you stand out. So all of that regular season, and the wins percentage, and let's just cheer him on. I'm not down for that. If those that want to be down for that, go ahead and do it. That's your prerogative, not mine. I'm trying to see this damn team win. And I've been saying it all year long. And the Vikings fan police, that's not very Viking-like of you. We got to put you under arrest. You're not a true Vikings fan. Shut the fuck up. That's where I'm at. Respectfully, I think he's a good coach. So, all right, and you were there too when I brought this up initially on this show. Rap. What you got to say?
I mean, look, man, I'm a Kevin O'Connell fan. I said this in the video after the game. I said it during my post-game live. I'm willing to meet fans in the middle like you that say, hey, he shouldn't be calling plays. I guess my problem with it is I know, like, if you watch the all 22s on a lot of the games with the play calling, and for one, I mean, you got to think about it. Sam Darnold threw for a ton of yards. I mean, the running backs had a pretty good season. If you think about, him being a bad play caller, I don't think those players would have the numbers they would have. Now, I'll say this. In crucial moments, big games, yes, it's been frustrating, bro. Even as a KOC fucking rider, right? Like, it's been frustrating. I will say that. So I'm okay with, and I think we talked about this multiple times. I'm good with somebody else calling the plays. But as far as KOC just not being a good coach, which this isn't, I'm not saying you saying that, but like what I am saying is you do have fans out there that feel like we should just fire Kevin O'Connell. And those are the fans that I don't agree with, because who are you replacing him with, man? We see these other teams going through this turmoil of having a coach for a year. What players are going to want to come to Minnesota if you're sitting there firing a coach? Like, because I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to free agency, a lot of players, big name players now, because of Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi and how they carry themselves and have like kind of turned the organization around as far as like just the attitude, there's going to be a lot of big name players that aren't going to mind coming to Minnesota now just to play for him. If you bring another guy in, there's no telling what the vibe's going to be like. You know what I mean? You just don't know. So I just think there's a lot in there. You got to sacrifice certain things, and play calling may be one of them. And I agree with you on that. I just think, man, you watched all 22s. My problem with Sam Darnold is this for these last two games that really frustrate when you think about play calling and KOC is there's always two underneath options. Sam Darnold refuses to use them. He refuses over and over again. Even last night, you got Jalen Naylor going right across his face. I mean, yard and a half open, bro. That's wide open in the NFL. You got Aaron Jones coming across the field in his face. Underneath shit that Sam Darnold could throw to, but he rather hit the home run every time. That's his fault. You know what I'm saying? And on top of the offensive line just kind of being off their pivot too. I think there's a lot of things that play into it, but again, I'll agree with you with KOC does have a lot of like long drawn out offensive play calls that kind of fuck these people up, like fuck the quarterbacks up. It even did it with Kirk Cousins sitting back there trying to wait until Justin Jefferson runs 25 fucking yards downfield before he does a break. So I do get that, man. But one thing I give KOC as props is there's always an underneath option that a lot of these fucking quarterbacks refuse to do. Kirk Cousins actually did it, and we were pissed off because he used the underneath option too much that KOC provided for him. He would check the shit down when it was, third, fourth, and eight. You know what I'm saying? Use the underneath option. So I don't know, man. We kind of feel a little different about KOC, but I get your frustration.
I did see the last 2 weeks multiple times where they showed the camera angle from behind the quarterback, so behind Sam Darnold, the ball snaps, and whatever play that they ran, dude, the amount of just open green grass out there with no receivers running across, that's where I was frustrated at, where it's like, yo, you need to have those different level options where you got the check down, the intermediate, and if all hell breaks loose, all right, chuck it up. Jets or Addison, they're out there somewhere. I just feel like he has no concept of the situation at hand, especially when the stakes are at its highest. That the man, I think, is a good leader, that players, they want to play for him, but this whole shit where you got the Rams and you got the Lions just clowning this Vikings team, like now we're being looked at as, all right, that's the Teletubbies team. That's where, hey, they're super nice over there and it's all lovey-dovey and they have do they still have the donut club or a pizza club? Like they probably like share like fan mail and stuff and whatever. But when it comes to being tough and playing fucking football, we're going to bring all the smoke and they're not going to be ready for it. And I think you need to be able to match that intensity. And right now we've seen 2 playoff appearances that his team comes up short on the offensive end, the defensive end as well, except the defense was kind of all right, bend but don't break last night. But again, just like the week 18 game against the Lions, you can only do but so much, get so many stops. You got 1 touchdown. This offense got 1 touchdown in the last 8 quarters of play. KOC, like you're the offensive guru. What?
That is crazy.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, man. So
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
We got a large enough sample size to know that calling the plays is something that he just should not do.
And I don't think he's going to give it up though.
Well then, all right. Well then, the team is going to suffer. The downfall will continue. Or JJ McCarthy is going to have to be so great that he can mask all the issues that KOC presents. But if he's got too much pride to look himself in the mirror and be like, yo, I'm fucking up. These teams are making fun of us. The Rams, the Lions, we lost to both of those teams twice each this year. Nah, man, you don't have the stones to do that. You're a grown-ass man. You should be able to know when you made mistakes. If you can't admit that and say, nah, I'm doing a great job. Well, then this team's not winning a damn championship with him.
Yeah. Because part of me feels like with KOC is that it's more that he takes more pride in play calling than anything. Like, I honestly believe like this motherfucker would rather be an offensive coordinator than an actual head coach because that's what he takes pride in. Like, just seeing his offensive schemes come to fruition on Sundays. Like, I really believe that. Like, that's the vibe I get. Now, I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I could be wrong. And for some fans, hopefully I am wrong and we hire an offensive coordinator. I don't see it happening. So, like, if you are a Vikings fan and you think, that's going to happen, don't bet on the shit. Because at the end of the day, I just feel like, and 2 things could be true. Randy said, hey, put your pride to the side, brother. Like, you need help at that part of your, head coaching. You just need help at that. But I just don't see him doing that shit. Like, maybe other people get involved. I can see maybe people getting involved in behind the scenes. But guess what? As fans, we're not going to know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we probably ain't going to know that. All right, yeah, Kevin O'Connell called the game, but fucking Wes Phillips put the game plan together. Kevin O'Connell trusts him to do these things, and he just has called. I don't know. You feel me? Like, I don't know, man. It's frustrating, bro, because I love Kevin O'Connell, and I think he's a great coach. I know you mentioned something about like all the winning percentages and stuff like that. I just think if
Don't
you're not a
care.
good, yeah, but my thing is this though, Randy. I just think that if you are a bad coach, it shows in the NFL. Like if you're not a good coach, bro, you're gonna be one and done most of the time, and your record definitely shows it. He's definitely a good coach in my book, and probably a ton of millions of people's books because of yes, winning matters as a head coach, bro. It does. We can't deny that. You know what I mean? We really can't. You know, ask a lot of these coaches, ask a lot of these franchises that like the Bears and all this trying to figure out their coach and shit, and the Dallas Cowboys trying to figure out, all right, who the fuck can we get in here that can change the culture and get us to win double-digit games? They struggling right now. It's fucking musical chairs around this place right now, man, in the NFL when it comes to these coaches. We're blessed. We got a coach that's winning double-digit games. And he didn't ask for Kirk Cousins. He didn't ask for Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins.
He asked
didn't
for
damn
Sam
near.
Darnold.
I'm gonna give you this. I said this earlier. He might have went out and got Sam Darnold, but I think that was more of a what's available. We know we're drafting our quarterback in this draft coming up. What quarterbacks are available? Okay, here's my pick. You can get this guy, this guy, or this guy. All right, fuck it. Give me Sam Darnold. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to do whatever we got to do to take that quarterback from that team because that's the type of quarterback I need. That's why I say be patient. Let's give Kevin O'Connell his time with his troops. What I mean by his troops, really his soldier, JJ McCarthy. Now, once that comes to fruition, and if we start seeing these same problems, then I'm going to personally be on his ass because you handpicked him. This is like your son now. You went out, grabbed him. He hasn't been tainted by any other NFL team. This is your baby, your pride and joy, Kevin O'Connell. Let's see what you can do. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I think every other quarterback we've seen Kevin O'Connell have to work with, it's been kind of inherited in a way where it really wasn't. I mean, yeah, Sam Darnold was his choice, but it wasn't probably his best option. It was like one of those things where it's like these are your options, bro. Pick one. You know what I mean?
That's
you
fair.
want Josh Dobbs or you want Sam Darnold for 2024? Which one?
I just know that with the collection of weapons that they have on the offensive side of the ball, that an offensive play caller who knows what the hell it is that he's doing would do anything to coach these players, to call plays for these players in games. And for KOC, I don't think he's going to get there. Now, again, this goes back to the pride thing. Like, I don't even think like JJ McCarthy, this dude's going to have to be Superman. He's going to have to be Dan Marino to cover these. I'm saying to cover these mistakes where you can win games, big games in the postseason. This man KOC is a big dog in the regular season, and when the playoffs start, man, I tell you what, because now the playing field is even. It's almost like a pick on somebody your own size. All right, you train in MMA or whatever for 2 years. Guess what? This guy did it too, and he's the same weight as you. What are you going to do? You've been picking on these novices all these years. What are you going to do now? And it's like when the playing field is even, that's when he falls apart. But I mean, that's I don't want to drag this on for too long. It's like a wait and see approach.
Yeah.
I mean, outside looking in, it's pretty obvious what needs to be done. If he actually does it, we'll see.
All right, so shout out to Too Evil with the 10. He says, hi, Rap and Randy. KOC needs to learn how to adjust competent against competent coaching. Sorry. If KOC doesn't get lucky with McCarthy, we're looking at another decade of
futility.
Yeah, I can't see, man. These fucking glasses, boy, it's hard to read. I ain't gonna lie. Hire an OC to call plays. Sorry, y'all. I'm reading like Floyd Mayweather right now. You know what I mean? Because like StreamYard shit different. That motherfucker.
We gotta give a round of applause for Rap, everybody.
You know
man.
I'm saying, hey,
he worked through it right there.
Hi, Randy, learn how to adjust. No, shout out everybody in the building, man, for sure. But no, listen, Randy, SK. Shout out to you, Too Evil. We appreciate you supporting. SK's like, play my shit, right? He wants us to play his rant. I'll play it now. I hook it up to my thing. Let's see here. We got you, SK. Here you go, man. This is for all Vikings fans. Y'all listen to SK. He on PTO. This motherfucker working on his day off. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. All right, here we go, y'all.
All right, y'all. So that brings an end to the 2024 season for the Minnesota Vikings. Bounced in the first round of the playoffs after winning 14 games. And here we are. Same feeling as we always have when we find our way into the playoffs. And only losing to the two same teams. You know, you have,
which is crazy,
4 losses on the season. All 4 of those losses have come by the Lions and the Rams. But every year it's the same story for the Minnesota Vikings when it comes to the playoffs. We find our way in the playoffs. The reason why we lose, and it's always the same. It's never different. It's never a bad, decision, or never a one player playing bad. This isn't just Darnold. We got absolutely bullied in the trenches. Bullied. And this continues to be a trend for the Minnesota Vikings, particularly in the playoffs. If you cannot protect your quarterback, we can sit here and we can talk about how bad Sam Darnold looked the past 2 games.
He's sticking up for Darnold, Randy.
9 sacks.
Putting it all on the offensive line.
Is unacceptable.
It's all their fault.
That's what lost you the game. Not being able to get pressure on Stafford lost you the game. It's the same story for the Minnesota Vikings year in and year out, particularly in the playoffs. You get bullied in the trenches every fucking time. Every time. So what are you going to do about it? When are the Minnesota Vikings and Kwesi and KOC going to address the interior offensive line? When are we going to address the interior defensive line? Because that's what's losing you the big games. You have the talent on the outside. I don't want a fucking running back in the first round. You don't need a running back in the first round. Protect your quarterback, get after the quarterback, and stop the run. Those are the 3 things you got to do if you want to be successful in this league and make a goddamn playoff run. And every fucking year, it's the same shit with the Minnesota Vikings. We sit here with our thumb up our ass, wondering why the hell we can't fucking make it out the first round of the playoffs because we can't protect our fucking quarterback. When are things going to change? We know the problem. We know the issue. When are you going to take action? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same exact result. And that's exactly what the fuck the Minnesota Vikings are doing. Get some fucking dogs on the interior offensive line and maybe things will change up a little bit. Instead of fucking drafting 200-pound fucking sinners. Do your fucking job.
Bradbury.
We got plenty of skill players. We don't need any more fucking speed. We don't need any more fucking wide receivers. We don't need any fucking running back in the fucking first round.
There was his rant. So let's digest that, man. There was a lot going on there, man. You know what I mean? I gotta agree with them. I gotta agree with that. How you feel, Randy?
I feel like I don't know how. I'm actually kind of proud of SK because he's always been the positivity guy, and like whenever I would rage out, he would come to me and be like, "Hey, man, you're being negative. Like, look at the bright side here." You know it's bad when SK crashes out. Yeah. And that's what he did last night. Yeah. He's not wrong. I mean, the offensive line is bad, but also, SK, I will say, you're going to be mad at the offensive line. You got to point in the direction of KOC and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. They brought this man, Garrett Bradbury, back.
Oh, man.
Bro, they brought his ass back, on a 2-year deal. His rookie contract ran out. Didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Great. Get this dude out of town. KOC came into town and said, "Hey, nah, we gotta bring this dude back. And he's gonna be great." You knew, like KOC knew good and well that Garrett Bradbury is not going to be the guy. Last year, all right, this year, I will say, in the defense of Bradbury, hey, at least he can get the push on the quarterback sneak. He could not do it at all in 2023. This man, the Vikings did a better job at getting the tush push and the QB sneak. But that's really the only improvement that you saw from him. So, yeah, I mean, and the thing is, the trenches, interior offensive line, defensive line, that's been a problem for years. For like 10 years before KOC and Kwesi showed up. And they continue to pick up where Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer left off. That they weren't serious. Like this. So you brought back Dalton Reisner. Okay, whatever. You thought it could work out with Blake Brandel. He had a hot start to the year, and then he fizzled out.
He fell the fuck off. He fell off like a bad bag of dope, boy. I don't know what the hell happened to that dude.
That drop off was crazy. But those two positions, the two guard positions, I could at least say, all right, yeah, it didn't work out. But in the case of Garrett Bradbury, no, you did this to yourselves. Like, yes, he stinks. And that's for Bradbury. I'm so tired of talking about how bad he is. Like, because at this point, you're beating a dead horse. I don't have the energy to do it anymore. So it's like, as long as he's still on this team, all right, who put him there?
Yeah.
Who fucking brought him back? Yeah. Who signed him to a contract?
Yeah. Whose man's is this, B?
Right?
Like, whose man's is this? Like,
yeah. But no, I'm proud of SK, man, because I feel like that's been building for a long time, and he finally snapped. Welcome to the club.
Shout out SK, man. Hey, shout out our boy De Niro for the 10, man. We appreciate you, man. He said it's still Purple Gang. Y'all got me through so many late night shifts. I'm ready for the J-Mac era in Minnesota. Much love, fam, man. We appreciate you.
Much appreciated.
Oh, absolutely, man. Look, man, hey, SK, hey, man, we love you, brother. You don't sound sick in that video. I'm going to just keep it G, bro. You sound like you was all right, man. You know what I mean? Hey, I think because we lost, you ducking this shit tonight. But we give you the PTO. But, nah, like, he's absolutely right, though, right? In all seriousness, I think it is time for the Vikings to take the trenches seriously. Even this draft starting in a couple months in April, I would be perfectly fine if our team went out and said, hey, with this first round pick, you know what? We're taking the best guard in the in the college right now, or the second best, whatever's available. The best guard that you believe you scouted correctly and thinks available. Now, I know for fans, it's not the sexy thing. It's not the guy that's going to be catching touchdowns or running 100 yards or getting sacks. But I'm going to tell you, it will save us so much fucking heartache and there's no guarantee that the guy's going to be, an all-world guard or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you have to take that risk. Remember these conversations when we talked about quarterbacks where we said, hey, yeah, there's no guarantee that J.J. McCarthy's going to be the next fucking Tom Brady. But at the end of the day, guess what? You have to play the game, man. You got to risk it. And at the end of the day, if you got to use I guess we kind of know where we're going to be picking now. I guess we'll be picking in the 20s?
24.
24?
Yeah.
24th pick. All right. There's going to be some guard out there that's going to be a baller. There's some nice ones coming in, man. And we're going to do some research on them leading up to this shit. But I think it's okay to focus on that, and it's okay to make that pick and be okay as Vikings fans saying, hey, we went the boring route, so many people call it. But at the end of the day, look what the Lions did for the past 5, 6, 7 years, drafting offensive line after offensive line after in the first round. And guess what? Now, you can't touch this motherfucking quarterback damn near, dog, with a 10-foot pole, man. Them boys balling. I'm ready to see that.
Well, I think what would make SK happy this time around, where I think if they're ever going to be serious with the trenches, I think it would be this year. If not, they're never going to be serious about it, is because they have $70 million in cap.
I agree.
Like, the draft, that's one thing. We'll see if they go in that direction, but they have a couple of options in free agency. I think they can bring in 2 big names on the offensive line that can really make a difference from the jump. So we'll see. I think this is the year that if they're going to take it serious, that they'll do so.
Why do I have a feeling like Kwesi's gonna spend this first round pick on a fucking safety. I don't know why, man. I just have this bad feeling, bro, that it's gonna make me curse him the fuck out. Now I'm a Kwesi fan, but I feel like draft night I'm gonna curse this bastard out, bro. If he goes safety in this fucking first round, bro, I am going to hate this motherfucker. I'm gonna have to dog him for at least a week straight. I don't give a fuck. But I got this bad feeling because I mean we can touch on this, Randy, and how you feel about this. I know this is really sad news for me, you, SK, and all the fans that are kind of on our age bracket because Harrison Smith is somebody that we've, really grown a strong attachment to, man. I mean, that dude's just been a baller ever since he's put on the purple jersey, man. It just has came in and kind of held it down for us. And did we watch our last game with number 22 out on the field, bro?
We might have. And that's a tough pill to swallow because it's just for over half of my fandom, or maybe not. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit just for the sake of the great story that is Harrison Smith. Yeah. But for a large portion of my fandom, 22's been there. And honest to God, maybe it's because I don't pay attention to post-game pressers or press conferences in general. But for the most part, I know how players sound. I've never heard Harrison Smith talk. Not once. This man just shows up, balls out, packs up in the locker room, and goes home. As far as I'm concerned, he's the guy that ultimately he lets his play do the talking, and all-time legend, man. As far as in our generation, the best Vikings safety, I know that Paul Krause exists, but from our eyes, from what we grew up watching, it's Hitman. And the idea that this could be it, like we couldn't even. Yeah, we got to the NFC Championship game in 2017, and that was all great. But the way that ended, it's like, all right, let's give him one real chance, and it's like, and that was supposed to be this year, and it didn't work out.
Fucking fell short once again. Something that us Vikings fans are very accustomed to. Falling short. And not to beat on Kevin O'Connell's situation again, but, being 0-2 in the playoffs now. I mean, I could see the pressure definitely building when you're thinking about playoffs. They're going to start holding not just Vikings fans. I mean, like just the media in general, like all the good shit they say about them. At the end of the day, like they're going to start bringing up the fact that, hey, you might be getting your team there. That's all good and dandy because you got to win a certain amount of games to make that game. But at the end of the day, if you're getting blown the fuck out, or you're making dumb decisions, like because even the Giants playoff game, I mean, that was a horrible coach game too that we could kind of beat up on KOC. Even though I'm a KOC guy, man, I'm not gonna sit here and just glaze this motherfucker for no reason. Like I'm gonna call a spade a spade. And yes, that game irritated me too. I mean, doing fucking reverse passes to Kirk Cousins and all type of bullshit. There was just all type of dumb shit going on in that fucking game that just pissed me off. You know what I mean? And same with last night's game. I'm not as mad about last night's game as I was the Giants game, just due to the fact that I gotta watch this all 22 and really see. There was a stat that came out, Randy, where Sam Darnold was holding the ball. I believe they said 5.3 seconds. I think it's 4.8 or 5.3. One of those. It's a high-ass fucking number. The average quarterback in the NFL across the board, bruh, holds the ball like 3 seconds, I believe. 3.3 at the most. Yeah, 3 seconds. This motherfucker's holding the ball almost double than the average quarterback in the NFL, than most. 90% of the quarterbacks in the NFL. When you're holding the ball like that long, indecisive, because it looked like a lot of him just being indecisive last night. And yes, the wide receivers could have been strapped up or whatever the case may be. You got to throw the fucking ball away, man. We had this talk. Weeks, like I think after the Jaguars game where we were on here ranting, saying, bro, live to fight another fucking down, bro. Like, don't lose yardage. When you're putting your team in 3rd and 20, like, I mean, really, you're going from 3rd and 5 you're going from 2nd and 5 to 3rd and 20. That's unacceptable, bro. That's why it's hard for me to really lean on KOC, because I feel like KOC called the game. That's fair to say, but I just think the execution was fucking poor, man.
It was both bad. It was both bad. And I know that look when I see it on Sam Darnold's face. It was the same thing as Will Reichert. He was lost in the shadow realm. This man was scared. He was paralyzed in fear that he couldn't get himself back a week after the Lions game. Like somehow you couldn't just calm down and figure it out over the course of Sunday Night Football. Goodness, 8 days you had to shake it off, and you come back and look exactly as scared as you did 8 days ago?
Yeah.
Nah, he was scared. The pressure was too high. And honestly, that just makes it easier. And that goes back to the beginning of this live stream where it's like, all right, if there's anything to take away from this positively, it's that Sam Darnold did us a favor, that we don't have to argue with each other, that him being scared in the biggest moments for everybody to see, it's not even that he's not even going to get a contract offer. He's not going to get an offer from the Vikings, but even from a team that does feel like they need a bridge quarterback, or because of how light the quarterback prospects are in this upcoming draft, some teams, maybe the Raiders or somebody, are going to end up missing out on one of the top prospects. All right, we got to find a quarterback in free agency. I mean, if Sam played like he did for most of the year, the last 2 games, then, oh man, he'd be rolling in a 3, maybe 4-year contract. He's going to get a 1-year prove-it deal, and that's it, because he couldn't get over the fear. The fear consumed him. I see it all the time in certain athletes, or whether some big names in the NBA choke at the free throw line when it's 0.5 seconds left and you have a chance to tie the game or take the lead, that they just can't handle it. And Sam Darnold, he showed us who he really is at his core, and we don't need that.
Yeah. Too evil, you know, he got a question for you here, Randy. You know, shout out Too Evil for the $2, man. Too Evil in his bag tonight, man. You know, like
I know what he's doing right now. He's being funny. Hey, I respect Too Evil, man. This dude is awesome. Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out Too Evil, man. You know, Too Evil wants to get rid of McCarthy. It's funny. GG then we're doing a mock draft tonight, and first thing I do when I click on the video, I see fucking Too Evil in the chat talking about trade up for a quarterback. I'm like, yo, Too Evil fucking fool, man. Like straight up, man. I love it, man. He makes the off seasons and throughout the season, he keeps it fucking entertaining.
Hey, shout out to him, man.
Shout out to him, man. We'll touch on a couple more things here. I guess to get off of the Vikings just for a second, man. Like, who we pulling for? I gotta say this, man. If it's not us, man, I gotta go Lamar Jackson. I want to see Lamar Jackson. My wife is a Kansas City fan. Obviously, her whole family's from Kansas City. I've said this to people that's been on my chats know this, but I'm sick of seeing them win. I think they've won enough. They're being greedy, man. Let somebody else win. I want to see the Ravens pull one off. I want Lamar to hold one up.
Dude, he's a beast. It's crazy, like coming into the draft when, hey, I don't know, he struggled in college under a 60% completion rate. Is he going to be a quarterback at the pro level? And the transformation that he had to what he is right now, I mean, it's special. I never thought that anybody could eclipse Michael Vick, and obviously Jackson has done that in stats, but just in his play, man, the dude, obviously he can take off with his legs, but the man has precision passing. He throws these balls on a dime. And on top of that, they added Derrick Henry, who is proven along with Saquon Barkley that everybody thought running backs were a dime a dozen, including myself, that, hey, when it's time for them to get their second contract, adios, amigo. We're going to get somebody in the draft in the 5th round, because you can replace running backs at any time. And these two dudes, they have made it known, even David Montgomery before he got hurt, that running backs, they are back. Yo, Lamar Jackson he's Superman.
Yeah.
Unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For me, though, I'm rooting for the Commanders.
Okay.
I am.
I like it.
I grew up there in the DMV area, and I would honestly challenge. I mean, the Vikings, they're right there. So outside of the Vikings, I would challenge any other fan base in the league that is as loyal as Washington Commanders fans. Bro, every year, you couldn't tell them nothing. All the bum-ass quarterbacks that they done ran through, Donovan McNabb before he came to the Vikings, and yeah, we still got a chance. And now they have a real reason to have hope, and they won their wild card game against Tampa on the road. And I know all the odds are stacked against them going up against Detroit, but that's the team that I'm really rooting for because that fan base has suffered. And how ironic is it, Rap, that all the years that they have suffered with Dan Snyder as the owner, the man gets out of there and immediately they're in the playoffs and they win a playoff game since forever ago.
That's crazy.
Yo, I feel so happy for them right now. I'm rooting.
Are you kind of, trying to say that the Wolves should get the fuck out of town, man? Get out of Dodge, you know what I mean? For the Vikings to start winning some shit? Nah,
KOC just needs to stop fucking calling plays. That's all.
Straight like that. You know what I mean?
That's it. The Wolves are great.
I love the Wolves now for sure. And that move they pulled in Detroit made me love them even more. What the savagery behind that move, man. I fuck with the Wolves. The straight mob ties, man. Straight up, man. We locked in. But I agree with you 100%, man. I would love to. Could you imagine Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Super Bowl? I mean, shit,
oh my God, dude, they're the same player.
They're the same fucking player. And when I did a video, go back on my motherfucking channel when I said, listen, Jaden Daniels is Lamar Jackson, the same exact fucking player. People were calling me insane. He's crazy. This motherfucker don't watch college. He don't know ball. Man, listen, dog, you could see that shit from a fucking mile away that they are the same exact damn near player. I mean, literally, bro.
The same.
Literally. Like, it's almost like watching the same, like if you put Jackson on the back of Daniel's fucking jersey and change the 5 to an 8, you wouldn't damn near know the difference. You can kind of see
like, he's kind of shorter.
Yeah, he's kind of short. You could see the experience. You might be able to see a little bit more experience here and there with Jackson just because he's been in certain situations. But I mean, you watch that playoff game with Jaden Daniels, man. What a smooth motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, such a laid back dude. And I talked to his high school coach because when I did the video saying that I want the Vikings to do everything in their power to trade up and get Jaden Daniels. I don't give a fuck. And I'm a JJ McCarthy guy, but I said, if those two are on the board together, you better take Jaden Daniels over JJ McCarthy. And his coach reached out to me and said, man, listen, I just want to tell you that I saw your video. Hey, I'm letting you know right now, Jaden Daniels is the smoothest, most athletic kid that I've ever coached in my entire life. And I've coached a ton of kids. He said, this kid is so laid back. Just a great kid, man, and really, really good at football in person if you get a chance to watch him. And that shit made me even like him more, and he's proving it right now, man.
I thought you were about to say, hey, listen, man, I saw your video. Calm down. He ain't coming to the Vikings, bro.
Nah, he's a Vikings fan.
I thought he was about to say, he is.
And that's how he's seen the video because he's actually a Vikings fan.
Okay.
Yeah, he coached him in high school. He was his quarterback coach in high school, and he was like, man, I seen your video. He's like, I happen to be a Vikings fan, and he's like, I would love for Jaden Daniels. He's like, I just saw him at a parade. I guess they had like a parade or something that same week. And he's like, I just saw him and told him that I hope he's a damn Viking. He's like,
okay,
all the time. So it was kind of like a connection there. So I started pushing it more, although I already liked them regardless. But man, I mean, man, shout out to Washington. No, man, my cousin's a Washington fan and he's diehard. We talked today on the way home and he's like, man, y'all fucking folded. He's like, but man, my team is back, baby. He started with them. My team's back. We got the best rookie quarterback in NFL history and all. I'm like, pump your brakes real quick, brother. But nah, man, shout out to him, man. So that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
He should be offensive rookie of the year.
With the Vikings, before we get out of here, Randy, I got to talk about this. This was on my chest, man. And I kind of want to get your outlook on this. Running back, bro, because we just talked about it. You just brought up Derrick Henry. You know, I was one of those people. You said you were one of those people who felt like you could get a running back in the 6th round, 7th round, whatever. I was one of the ones on the opposite side of the fence. Like, no, the people that are saying what you were saying, I was calling crazy because I'm like, listen, you can't just go find anybody. I know people think the running back position is just, let's go get a motherfucker from Richmond State or wherever all these other motherfuckers we brought in the one year. And we learned real quick as Vikings fans that not everybody's Dalvin Cook. Not everybody's Adrian Peterson. You have to be intentional at the running back position. This is something this year. Last night, I'm going to tell you what made me really been a couple situations, but last night when Cam Akers broke out of that, broke away, great run. I think he ran for what, 50? Was it like 50 yards or something? Maybe I'm exaggerating. It was a good run though, right? And you get chased down, and you can see how this motherfucker was struggling. I mean, those knees look like them bitches was about to buckle. You hear me? And I'm like, you know what? I can't take this shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we need a fucking home run hitting. I miss the Dalvin Cook days, the Adrian Peterson days of once they get past the second level, it's a wrap. It's 7. Book it. You know what I mean? Like, we need that again. So how do you feel about the running back position, man, where we at right now at the Vikings?
I do. So SK brought this up. We don't need a fucking running back in the first round. We got to fix the trenches. I've been doing some research that I will post on my channel eventually, and probably this week, that I think the Vikings can address the majority of the positions of need while taking or in free agency, while using their first round pick on, I mean, if he's there, Ashton Genty, then I would be okay with it. Like, it's super possible to do that. But I'm with you now. Like, I've seen the light. I even think if Nick Chubb never got hurt, like, he would be in that conversation as well. You're seeing these running backs, man, make a comeback, and just how important that they are for the offense. I mean, even hell, the Lions committed to 2 running backs, 2 starting quality running backs, and they are just as important as Amon-Ra St. Brown and the quarterback. And I mean, they
if not more,
have one of the best offensive lines in the league.
Yeah,
but I've walked back that take. I'm not with it anymore. You can't find just anybody. I thought Blake Corum from Michigan would go over to the Rams and just be that guy and take over, and that just hasn't been the case. So yeah, I mean, the old head running backs are making a name for themselves. So you need that explosiveness and athleticism, but I think it's very possible that they can address the trenches on both sides of the ball and still take a running back worthy of being taken in the first round.
Yeah. I don't think Genty's going to be there, obviously, at 24.
You don't?
Not at 24. No. I think the Lions and really the reason why I don't think he's going to be there is thanks to the Lions and the Falcons. Like, taking that chance on Bijan Robinson and taking that chance on Jahmyr Gibbs. You know the NFL, it's a copycat league. They see, like, well, damn, they went after a top running back in the first round, and it look how it fucking benefited their franchise. There's going to be other poverty franchises that are going to say, oh, our turn. Let's get the, Heisman runner up. You know what I mean? Because he's going to change. We'll be able to hand the ball off. Anytime we're in trouble, we can just run the ball. Because it's always, it always puts your team in a good position when you have a running back. Because if things aren't going well and you got a running back that can really take over a game, like a Jahmyr Gibbs, what I mean? Like Jahmyr Gibbs, bro, like, honestly, I know you want the Commanders, but I'm going to tell you right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is about to fucking cook, in my opinion. Now, I don't want the Lions to win, but if I'm just talking from a standpoint of football on football, and I'm just looking at the personnel, I mean, I think the Commanders are gonna fucking struggle trying to slow that kid down, bro. That kid is a running. I'm envious of that shit. I wish that motherfucker was our running back, to be real, or Bijan Robinson. Like, I think we need to address that, and I'm okay with that in the first round. But I don't really know. I like Ollie Gordon. I think Ollie Gordon might be there at 24. I know he had a down season. He was damn near a Heisman runner-up in his sophomore year. Last year, kind of down season, got in trouble at the beginning of the season. I think he got like a DUI or some bullshit, which is cool, man. You need a couple motherfuckers on the squad with a little bit of record on them, man, a little bit of felony or 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit ain't nothing wrong with it,
Except jail time.
Just no jail time. As long as you beat the case, goddammit, you good, man. We accept you. You know what I mean? But nah, man, I think running back definitely needs to be addressed too, man. So I'm glad to get your take on that for sure, because that's something that was bothering me. Like, bro, these running backs, man. Aaron Jones, thank you again. This is no shot to you saying that you're a bad football player. I just think it's time, man. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Cam Akers. I just think it's time. I think it's time to really be more intentional at the running back position and try to really get that star running back again. Vikings fans, we're used to having the running back be one of the stars on our football team.
Right.
So I think we need to get back to that, man.
Yeah, you can't do the serviceable running back for your starter anymore. You've got to get a guy that can put you over the top and can make explosive plays and break off for a yard and a half after contact, like those type of guys. So I'm with you right there. But I will say, man, the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, rookie year, 12-5, new regime. They beat the Eagles 36-33. I mean, they can put up some points, man. And I mean, they are that team that if there's going to be a surprise upset over Detroit, it would be this team.
The Commanders, yeah.
It would be them if in the NFC. Yeah. Because if it's not them, then all right, they're just going to walk their way to the Super Bowl.
And I agree 100%. And nothing would make me fucking happier this weekend than watching the Commanders fucking stomp the goddamn Lions, or not even stomp, just beat them. I don't give a fuck if you beat them by 1.
Just win, baby.
On a last second kick, man. If you beat them, I'll be happy. I don't see it if I had to bet on it, but at the end of the day, I would love it to happen, man. I would love to see Jaden Daniels and fucking Lamar. I'm pulling for that Super Bowl. That would be the best Super Bowl, in my opinion, in a long time, to watch those two guys go head to head and get to watch, both of their games just on national TV, man, for the world to see. I think it would be a great thing for football, honestly.
Absolutely.
But, man, great show tonight, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Unfortunately, with our guy SK being out, we don't have our picks for the playoffs. I asked him to send it. You know what I mean? But he didn't send it to the text messages, so we don't really know. I didn't have time to go back and watch our last episode and write down all the picks that we did. No. So what we'll do, don't worry, y'all. Maybe we'll post them on the community tab. Since SK, is laying in bed now, sick as a dog, so he say. Mm-hmm. Maybe he can just do a community tab post, man, with the picks and what our records are.
And then when he comes back and says, oh, man, I won the whole week. I did amazing. Nah, hey, bro, I said this last week. We may have to do it again. We're going to have to storm the NFL spread capital and demand a recount and say this was rigged.
Facts. Because hey, gotta watch.
How convenient the guy that's counting all the votes and tallying up all the numbers puts himself in first place.
That's a fact. Gotta watch that guy, man. Gotta watch that guy, SK. Yep. Nah, man, we love SK, man. Hey, look, man, me and Randy, we appreciate everybody that showed love tonight, man. What a great show. Hey, listen, don't be down, Vikings fans. There's always next year. You know how it goes, man.
All right.
And tap in. Realistic Randy on YouTube. Vocal Vike. Tap in with SK, man. We're going to be on here. Oh, real quick, too, guys. We're going to be bi-weekly now. So we'll be doing this show every other Monday now. So, and we'll drop a schedule on the community tab, too, to keep you guys informed now that the season's over. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We don't want to do every Monday now because there's, we got to let the news build up. So, y'all make sure y'all just stay tuned with the channel. We appreciate everybody that stuck with us through the season, man. Let's go Vikings, man. Holla at your boys.
I say.